Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well. So me and Rich, we're going to be here today to talk to you about the apprenticeships and the graduate programs that we offer here at Capgemini. Before we get into that, though, just a bit of an introduction. So from myself, my name's Callum. I joined Capgemini last September in 2019. I myself am an apprentice on the Digital and Technology Solutions degree that Capgemini offers. Currently based in Telford, working from home, and pretty much my role of what I do in Capgemini is I work as a test analyst, and I specifically work on automation. So that's my job role. Rich, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Callum. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all. Yeah, my name's Rich. I am a graduate. I graduated last July of last year, and basically I joined as a programmer, essentially, so a software engineer as such. But basically my role at the moment, obviously, is developing code for various platforms, predominantly web. So I do quite a bit of web design. Similar to Callum, I'm based at Telford office, but obviously I am working from home as much like the rest of us at the moment. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. You'll hear a little bit more about me very shortly when we go into a little bit more detail, but I'll pass you back over to Callum.
Brilliant. So let's crack on. So basically the agenda of what we're going to be talking through today, just to go through in the presentation, we're going to give you a bit more of an insight into who we are at Capgemini, what exactly we do, the kinds of things that you'll hear about what Capgemini does, what we offer in terms of the apprenticeships, not just the programs, but also when you get into the programs, the sort of opportunities and things you can face, both as a graduate or as an apprentice. We'll go into a bit more detail about the recruitment process, so what you can expect to experience during that, from a first-hand experience from myself and Rich, and also hopefully by that point, if not, we'll go through a bit more why you should choose Capgemini, why it's, what you can benefit from joining.
Okay, so I'll jump in now. Thank you, Callum. So basically, as you can see, Capgemini, we have a vast array of clients right across our network of clients overall. And as I'm sure you can see on screen, there's quite a few of them that I'm guessing you're going to recognise. So that's okay. One of the ones in particular, and I remember this very similar to Callum as well when I first started, is McDonald's actually. I'm very certain if you've ever been into McDonald's, you've used the old interactive screens to place your orders. Capgemini has actually helped facilitate the development of those. So we're not just, how can I say, a company that basically deals with building great software for various businesses. We do obviously help to kind of deliver solutions ultimately for our clients. And in particular, at the moment, I'm working on a project for HMRC, and basically that's where most of my time, well, pretty much all my time is currently focused on. So back to Callum.
Yeah, and just to add on that as well, like there's all the companies you can see on there, we've all done different projects, different types of solutions that have been involved in those. Like you say, what Richard said, there isn't one type of thing that we do in Capgemini, it's a range of different things that we do. So yeah, going into a bit of the story about myself then, a bit of background. So like I said, I joined Capgemini last year, but before that I came straight from my A-levels pretty much. But I ended up actually, because I completed my A-levels in 2018, but I actually ended up taking a gap year itself. Sorry about that again, don't know why they keep jumps forward. Anyway, yeah, so I took a gap year basically, where I was, I just started, I ended up taking, I think it was 3 different jobs, and so gained different skills from that. So I wasn't really certain on what job I wanted then. Also, when I left A-levels, I didn't even think at the time of getting an apprenticeship specifically in IT, because the A-levels I had weren't really focused on that itself. So when I actually stumbled across Capgemini, the first thing was I didn't even know Capgemini existed, to be honest with you. And then when I went through the recruitment process, I started to realize, what they did. Also, the process itself, it's very orientated to yourself. A lot of the things you go through, which we'll cover later on, the recruitment process, a lot of the things you go through and you do, they're very much orientated to yourself. They're not really based on paper. So for me to come from the stage where I didn't really have much experience at all no experience in testing and hardly anything in coding. I wasn't one of those people that did coding in my spare time or did it much at school, to be honest with you. To now be at a point where, like I said, I'm doing automation testing, which is dealing with coding pretty much every day and also testing every day. That for me is that's a big achievement, and that's something I never thought I'd see myself doing. And at the same time, every day is a bit, it's a bit different. You deal with different things all the time. You work on different technology, speak with new people, so there's all those big benefits, which I've seen from joining CAP, as well as joining as part of a bigger cohort of people, which again, all of those people who I know, they're spread out across the UK, working on different projects themselves. So that's kind of what you can experience, what you can see to experience as well when you come into Capgemini, and it's a big benefit, and it's something which I look back on now, and I think it's been an amazing experience, something I can't really compare to anything else I've done, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's basically my story, and now I'll hand over to Rich to give his.
Okay, thank you, Callum. So, in a slightly different light to Callum, my experience it goes quite some distance back. Basically, prior to obviously studying, just to give you a bit of an insight, I studied applied computing through the University of Bath. I started in 2014. Basically, prior to that, I was working in the FMCG industry, which is fast-moving commercial goods, to be precise. So I was in a completely different industry. I was in that industry for several years, doing various roles, including managing people, and also, in particular, basically training. I've always had an interest for coding, and back in my A-levels, I studied computer science, got my A-levels and what have you, and obviously went into a completely different route in terms of where I was going. But back in 2014, I thought I'd up sticks and change careers completely, and obviously went to study applied computing through the University of Bath. I graduated in 2017, but throughout my degree, I learned not just everything to do with coding that excited me, but a lot more to do with everything that really computing has to offer, including the likes of cybersecurity, which I believe we will be touching on very shortly in the presentation, mobile development, project management as well, testing, obviously similar to what Callum's talked about a little bit earlier on, and obviously programming, which was one of my one of my major excitement areas, you could say. So basically, I graduated in 2017, and I basically worked for one or two agencies for a short while down the southwest of England, design agencies. And basically in 2019, in July, I decided to put in my application for Capgemini's graduate scheme. Basically, I've always known of Capgemini because it's never been too far away from where I've been based. And basically, I thought, the opportunities came up. I've got my my degree in computing, and I thought it's an excellent opportunity for me personally to progress my career and actually do something that I love to do. And more importantly, Capgemini's values that you'll shortly see, all of the values really fit in line exactly with what I believed in, and it was essentially the perfect fit. And in particular, basically joining the GAP program was a fantastic place to start, because I think, as Callum was pointing out earlier on, it's not just about all work. There is a play element to it. We work hard, we enjoy ourselves, but more importantly, we have fun as well. And it's what it should all really be about. We should really enjoy, coming into our day job and doing a great job and enjoying our day-to-day role. And that's what the GAP program really offers. So that's one thing I will say. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'll pass you back over to Callum. Okay, I believe I'm actually going to talk a little bit about this now. So just in terms of obviously some of the values, in particular what we actually assess during the selection process, there is quite a few areas in particular. And as you can see on the list here, there's that many different areas, obviously, that we do look at in terms of obviously a lot of these are our core strengths. And in particular, me and Callum, we've had a look at these the other day, and there are a few of these that really do stand out. And in particular, being agile, that's one of the real core strengths that we really look for in people that really join Capgemini. So really, in part of our daily role, in particular, and I'm guessing it's the same for yourself, Callum, we need to be agile and able to obviously kind of like adapt to change, because in our line of work, there's always different projects coming on, and you get that many different opportunities to look at working on something new, which is a fantastic thing. It's a fantastic place to be. So you're never doing realistically the same thing, because there's always new projects and always new things that you can get into. So you never get bored at all. Because there's always something different going on. I think in particular we also look for self-drive as well, and it's closely related to work ethic as well. When you join Capgemini, we give you all the tools, we give you all the support, and that's one thing I will really reiterate, is that the support network you get in Capgemini is, in my opinion, is phenomenal. Everybody's so supportive, so we give you absolutely everything you can to succeed. And like I said, we do also expect that you're going to be self-driven. You're going to be able to really kind of push yourself and motivate yourself to obviously kind of really get stuck into your role and put your mark on the work that you do. So it's about really kind of putting your own stamp on what you do and really being driven to do that. So we give you all the tools, and essentially you can basically drive that, and you really kind of dictate how far you get to in your role and in your career as well, because we have excellent progression routes as well. And as I was alluding to earlier on as well, it is about fun. It's not just about work. There is also a sense of a collaborative spirit, as you can see on screen. So we do expect that obviously everything that you do, it's all for the benefit of others, and basically to benefit Capgemini as a whole. So it's about being collaborative as well. So we look for obviously a collaborative spirit. So and then obviously as part of that, you will have opportunities to have some fun along the way. And in particular, as I would point back to the GAP program, the great thing about it is that we do work hard, but we also, as I've said several times, we do have fun. We have quizzes, we have things where we can kind of like really let off some steam and have a catch up with each other and see how we're all getting on, even during the testing times that we're currently in as well. But I'll probably say those are some of the key areas, but obviously there are several others that you can see on screen as well, but that will just give you a little bit of a flavour. Okay, so I'll pass you back over to Callum.
So with the actual programs that we offer them at Capgemini, going into the one that I'm part of, so the technology degree apprenticeship, that is a full-fledged degree that's offered by Aston University. Obviously the difference will be now when you join next year, depending on where we are with COVID, you might either be actually on campus or you might be doing that as a virtual experience. Because that's the other thing as well, is the sort of the way that the course is delivered, the way you learn it, the way you collaborate with others and your lecturers. It's all virtual. It's pretty much very virtual anyway when you get into the further on into the degree. So for instance, like the modules I'm doing now, I do webinars on an evening basis, and the on-campus, what would have been on-campus assignments, I'm now doing online instead. So they're the sort of things you can experience, and you do those with people in your cohort, as well as a couple of other people from other companies that are involved in those as well. Because you're doing it through Aston University, obviously that module is offered to other people outside the CAP as well. So that's another benefit. You also get that sort of insight with other people who are in apprenticeships with other companies. You can make friendships there as well. So you work towards that. When you first join, when you get accepted, you go into the program, you have what we call an ALE period. which is advanced learning environment. So when you join, what you'll have is you'll first have your induction week, where you get shown a lot more detail about what Capgemini does. You'll be shown a lot more information about what you're going to be doing in your job, the sort of values of Capgemini set in stone there, as well as getting other Q&As from other people across the business, from all over, from all the way up in Scotland to down in Wales, across the UK. And then you'll have an 8 to 9 week ALE period, as they call it, which during that time, that's when you learn all the key skills you need to know for the apprenticeship. So for myself, when I came in, like I said, I didn't really have any experience or concrete experience in coding whatsoever, which worried me a bit. That was something I was concerned about. But then seeing from that with the ALE, I learned everything I needed to know to get me started off then when I started doing my job in Cap.
Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to cut you off there, unfortunately. You got to the end of your time,
right,
unfortunately.
Okay.
But thank you very much.
Okay, sorry about
that. No, not a problem.
Can we just quickly add, the following slide, very quickly, the recruitment process. It is detailed on there, and I believe this will be shared with the attendees, Oliver?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and there is an email address as well, I believe. Should we put that into the chat, actually?
We can put that in the chat later.
If you put that in the chat, it'll get distributed out. That's fine.
Cool. Yeah, there we go.
But thanks, guys.
So I'll just show it on. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.